For a picot bind-off, we have to start with a traditional bind-off. What we'll do is go ahead and knit the first 2 stitches, and then pass the first stitch over the second. We'll continue to knit one and pass the first stitch over the second until we have bound off however many stitches it says to in your picot bind-off pattern. You can bind off as many or as few stitches between your picots as you want, but for this particular pattern, we're going to bind off 6. Now we are ready to make our picot. To make our picot, we're going to pass our stitch back over to the left-hand needle, and then we are going to use a knitted on cast on to add 2 stitches back to the left-hand needle. So you'll have 3 stitches. Now I'm going to knit the first stitch, knit the second stitch, and then pass the first stitch over the second to bind off, just as we had been with the traditional cast off. And I will continue to do that until I have bound off 8 stitches. Binding off and casting off mean the same thing. It's just 2 different ways to say it. I will continue to bind off 8 stitches, return 1 stitch to my left-hand needle, and make my picots all the way across my bind off. Here you can see the first picot that I made, and now I'm ready to make the next. You may have more or fewer stitches in your picots, but it's the same process. You'll pass that stitch back to the left-hand needle, use the knitted on cast on to place as many new stitches onto the needle as you need. And then you'll bind off those new stitches so that you get a cute little bubble or a little picot along the edge of your work. These picot bind-offs are particularly nice for the tops of socks, for toe-up socks, for shawl edgings, and for cuffs on sleeves when you're knitting top down. Here's my new little picot, and now I'll go ahead and bind off more stitches and keep going. But there they are, 2 little picots, and it's pretty easy. I hope this tutorial helped you.